Hey guys, it's Carolee. I just want to share an extra little mini episode with you every single week because I want you to know that it's possible to do this thing called living your best life and doing the thing that lights you up while being a busy mom. And I want to give you a little bit of a background, behind the scenes look at what's going on in my actual life and how I am doing this, how I'm doing the things that light me up and being a mom at the same time. So I'm going to tell you about what's going on in my life and the lessons that I'm learning. Take a listen. So the other night I was working on a project and I was really struggling to come up with an idea. And what hit me instead was the phrase, "I'm too tired to be inspired." And the irony here is that was kind of an inspired line because here we are. It has inspired this podcast episode and it has inspired me to, reflect on how I really struggle to come up with, fresh, amazing ideas, really like to, channel inspiration, right? When I'm not taking care of myself as thoroughly as I should be. When I'm overtired and it's late at night and I need to be going to bed, or if I need a nap in the middle of the day, or if I, am overworking myself and I need to eat lunch, or I need to take a break, or, for me in my life, a lot of it is I get overstimulated a lot, and my kids will be really loud and they will yell at me a lot. And so I find that really taking breaks and doing meditations. So I have a regular practice where I meditate every morning when I first get up. And it's okay. It's not actually when I very first wake up, but it's within an hour of getting up, I have my 10 to 20 minute meditation. But then I also do another one right before my son gets home from school, one of my sons. And it really helps me to take that time to clear my mind of all the noise and all the clutter. And I've noticed that on weekends or over the summer and times when life is really, when they're home, right? When life's extra noisy and extra crazy, that I need those meditation moments even more. I have found that my meditation practice it's really essential for me to take that time out of my day to really clear my mind. But then the thing is that with that meditation practice, if I'm not getting enough sleep, I will fall asleep during my meditation. If I'm staying up too late at night, working on projects or answering I tend to do that a lot. I answer people's messages to me at way past my bedtime. It's a really terrible habit of mine. And that's when I'll be oh, hey, I forgot to respond to all these people. And then I'll start responding to messages and then it's really bad. And so it'll be 11 p.m. and I'll be oh, this is way past my bedtime. I should have gone to bed a while ago. And then I'll stay up extra late trying to cram in work I didn't get in earlier instead of really setting my firm boundaries and getting stuff done on time. So if I'm not being firm in my boundaries and I'm trying to use my meditation time to make up for sleep that I didn't get, I will 100% fall asleep during that meditation. And you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's that's actually exactly what I need in that moment. No judgments. So if you are working on getting better at meditating and you're I just keep falling asleep, or my mind is wandering, you are so fine. Just keep trying to do better and taking better care of yourself. But if you hold better boundaries in the rest of your life, your meditation will stop being a catch-all for the other things you need in life, like more sleep, and it will start being more of a time for inspiration to come hit you. And because that's what I have found as I've actually like been really good at my meditation practice, but I've ebbed and flowed on my like really solid sleep boundaries. I hope that makes sense. So I've done really well at meditating twice a day, but not always have I done really well at getting to bed on time and getting the right amount of sleep. So at times when I'm not getting enough sleep, I'll like accidentally take that sleep time out of my meditation, and then I'm not quite getting out of my meditation the things I would normally hope to get out of it, if that makes sense. Which, don't be wrong, sleep is then, the thing that I need the most. But in the, essence of what I wanted this minisode to be about, if the goal here is to have inspired action, right? The goal is to work from an inspired place, to live from an inspired place. I want my interactions with my kids to be inspired, not coming from a place of lack. My goal in life is for everything I do, be it, in my business or with my kids or with my husband, I want all of my interactions to come from that place of inspiration, not from a place of, lack, not from the place of being overtired. And I'm realizing that if I'm too tired, and that could be too tired physically, like I don't have enough sleep, like I didn't get the adequate amount of sleep, right? But it could also be like emotionally drained. Like it doesn't, like I could be like way hopped up on caffeine and not physically like need sleep at that exact second. Like my body couldn't sleep, but still be like drained and need rest in other ways. I hope that makes sense. And so what I was saying is that I realized that like maybe the opposite of inspiration is just being too tired. And so if I want to live a more inspired life, what I really have to do is take better care of myself. I need to set those sleep boundaries and really enforce them. But I also have to set other boundaries. Like I need to make sure I'm eating regularly, eating well and healthy. I need to make sure I'm moving my body. I need to make sure that I mentally get the space that my brain needs. I don't know if this is true for all the rest of you guys, but this is something that is really, really relevant to me in my life. And that is this concept of my brain gets overwhelmed. I have a lot of noise coming at me from other people all the time. And it's definitely like kid noise. Like I got a lot of kids making noise at me a lot. But then when there's not kid noise coming at me, I have this like internal pressure of like, you need to be getting X, Y, and Z done right now. And I kind of put that on myself. It's like, okay, the kids are at school. You've got this peaceful, quiet time. Now do stuff. You need to go to the store and go shopping, and you need to get the house clean, and you need to get your business done. You need to be talking to people. You need to be doing it. Like I put this pressure on myself, or I allow myself to feel the pressure that I'm, soaking up from my husband and from all the, societal pressures around me. I'm allowing that to invade my space. Like I'm not holding my boundaries when I allow that in. But if I want to really live a truly inspired life, which is the best thing, by the way, that is the goal, because everything flows smoothly when you live from that place of flow, from that place of alignment. That's what I'm talking about by living inspired. I have to be better at setting the boundaries and putting my energy first. And I feel like we talk about this a lot. It's really easy to look at this concept and be like, oh, that's selfish, because it's been taught to us from childhood that if you're putting your own needs first, that you're being selfish. And hopefully we're starting to come around to this idea that actually you cannot pour from an empty cup. You gotta fill your own bucket first. And that's what happens here. Especially like if I'm overtired, if I haven't eaten all day, if I'm overwhelmed, I do not show up for my family from a good place, from a good, healthy place. I come out as the bitter, short end of the stick kind of Cara Lee. Like, you don't get the best version of me if I haven't first taken care of myself. And one of the things that I really love to say is that, like, nobody can go to the bathroom for me. Nobody can eat lunch for me. Nobody can take care of me except for me. I cannot pawn those responsibilities off on my husband or on my kids or on anyone else. The only person who can make sure that I'm taken care of is me. That's my responsibility, to make sure that I have the things that I need so that I show up in a really good place for my kids. So that when my son comes home and he's really upset that I forgot to buy ketchup at the store, that I can handle his being out of sorts. And I have to be able to handle whatever he throws at me, because that's my job. I'm his mom. He's a child, and he's going to have all sorts of emotions. And my job is to be able to be regulated enough my own self to be able to take whatever he throws at me. But in order to do that, I have to be selfish enough to care about my own regulation. It's so important. It takes that inspiration to be able to handle a kid who's screaming and upset, and instead of seeing it as an attack on your peace, to see your child with love and approach the situation with patience. And, it's not just kids. I know I'm talking about kids a lot because that's my life. And, this is a podcast geared at moms. But if you have other things, life is just filled with things that test our patience. And we're never going to be without those things. Today, I was determined that today was going to be a day where I was, inspired all day. Where everything was it didn't matter what situations happened. I was going to be filled with that gratitude and inspiration and alignment. I was gonna be there today. And then at the very beginning of my day, I went to go take my husband to work, and I buckled my seatbelt, and then the car started beeping at me, and it was like, you didn't buckle your seatbelt. And I was like, yes, it did. And that was the first thing I did when I got in the car. And it was like, beep, 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 beep. Didn't buckle your seatbelt. Driver's seatbelt is unbuckled. And I was like, no, it's buckled. It was the first thing I did when I got in the car. And it was like, beep, 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 beep. Driver's seatbelt unbuckled. And I was like, no, I buckled it. I swear it's buckled. And I unbuckled it. And I buckled it back in. And it was like, beep. And it just kept beeping at me. And it was like, oh, this is another test to see if I can handle circumstances out of my control and maintain my composure. And because I've been working really, really hard on this, on accepting whatever circumstances come and, keeping my composure, it beeped for the entire 10-15 minute journey, but I sang along to it, and I, we had gotten to the store, and my husband ran inside, and I looked up the note on I have a piano app on my phone, and I was like, ooh, this is a G, and then I sang along to the G, and then, I was able to turn the car off, and it reset, and it stopped beeping at me, and the sensor decided to work, and everything was fine, and I'm not going to have to take my car to the mechanic to get it fixed. But it's little things like that can happen that exhaust us if we let them. that can throw us right on out of inspiration if we are not so careful that we are always taking care of where we're at and what we need. So that's what I want to encourage you to do. Where are you? How are you doing emotionally? And if you are tired, take care of yourself. If it's time for you to rest, if you can just feel it in your soul, go rest. And I am not going to sit here and tell you how your rest needs to look. If it means taking a nap, then go take a nap. If it means going to go do a meditation and then napping through your whole meditation, then go for it. If it means binging a TV show, that is excellent. That is one of my favorite ways to be like, I am resting because my brain thinks it's doing something, but really it's not. Reading a book may or may not feel like rest to you. You have to go with the thing that feels like the right rest. Because for different people, like resting different ways is the right way for the right moment for you. And it's really easy to look at other people and like judge their rest. And so like stop that. And stop judging your own methods of rest. Let your rest look how it needs to look for right now. If your rest means going through a drive-thru and buying a junk food and sitting in the car and like eating it, then go have some rest. Like go let your rest go, like let it look the way that your body's telling you it needs to look right now. Like go be inspired in the way that your rest looks, because then when it feels like the right moment to come back to working and doing things, the inspiration's going to come so much faster. I mean, let's be really honest, the inspiration's probably going to hit you like a truck in the shower, and you're going to be like, oh, I know exactly what I'm supposed to do now. And like for me, I was trying to figure out, what am I going to write my speech on? And I was hemming and hawing because I'm in a speech competition, and I was like, what do I write my speech about? I'm feeling so uninspired and I don't know what to do. And I was like, how do I win the speech competition? And it's okay if I don't win the speech competition, but why would I compete if I'm not going to try to win? I want this to be the best speech ever, because okay, that's me, y'all. I'm very competitive. And that was the thing I was struggling with when this thought came to me that was like, I'm too tired to be inspired. And so I sat down and I opened a new book because I had just finished another book. And I opened this book, and right there on the very first page, when I set down my problem and I let myself rest and do the thing that felt like the right restful action, on the very first page was my inspiration. It was the thing. It was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what my speech should be about. I know, and I just knew it. It was like the very introduction paragraph. It was right there, black and white. I knew it. I'd been hemming and hawing over this for weeks, and I just knew it instantly. Let yourself rest, because the inspiration will follow. I promise.